You're listening to another episode of Fort Riley the podcast. And today, if you are someone on this installation looking for a job, we have just the people to help you.
My name is Amber Staywin, and I'm employed with Army Community Service Employment Readiness Program.
Who do you serve?
I serve soldiers, veterans, family members, DA civilians. I help everybody. If anybody needs my assistance, that's who I help.
And so what does that assistance look like?
Well, there's a little bit of a misconception out there in Fort Riley that I am a resume writer. I do not write resumes. If you present me with a business one, I will help you. I just recently, in September of 2022, I'm now certified as a resume coach. And what I do is I look through it, I tweak it, I work it around, I'll give you ideas, I pull information off the announcements and show you what you need to have in your resume with your work experience and your competencies, knowledge, and abilities to be able to be referred to that position.
Where are you getting the information about jobs that are available?
I basically stock USA Jobs every day, because that's mostly what most spouses want, is to get a federal position. Why is that? Is if their soldier is going to stay in the Army for any length of time, whenever that soldier PCSs, that civilian federal employee will PCS as well. And so many of them don't know they can do that. It's called LWOP, leave without pay. And they can follow their spouse from installation to installation. And when that soldier goes to retire, they get to retire as well as a civil servant. So it's a win-win on both sides. I show them how to filter on USA Jobs, show them how all the toggles on USA Jobs works, where the questionnaire is in the job announcement. Many of them don't know, and many do find out that they don't get referred because of how they answer the application manager questions.
So how do they get started taking advantage of your program?
They can either reach out to Army Community Service. I have 4 different classes a month, normally on Mondays and Tuesdays. That seems to be the best. And it's normally from 10 to 11:30. The first day is navigating through the whole site. And the second day is they bring in their resume, and then we go through the resume showing specialized experience, what the competencies for the announcement are, and or they can do an individual appointments with me. I have 2 different offices. My office at Army Community Service is 785-239-4250. My other office is 785-239-9621. I do a lot of postings for jobs that I get from not just USA Jobs, but from different entities, military.govs and govs sites.
And right now the job market is pretty hot.
Oh, absolutely. Not only just posting jobs, but just yesterday there was 507 remote jobs. So on USA Jobs. So many times it's sometimes doable for a military spouse or soldier or veteran to utilize that. It's amazing to see their faces. How come no one's ever told me this? And I'm like, well, that's what I'm here for.
Another thing that I heard recently is people will talk themselves out of applying for a job because maybe they think they're not qualified.
That is a good point, Colleen. What I do is probably the wonderful assets that I have is I empower my spouses. I had a spouse who came to me a year ago, and she's like, if I don't make at least $65,000, I'm not gonna, I don't want the job. And I was like, okay, well, I support you. I'll be there for you. I created 10 questions for her for the interview that she was having. Her husband was MEBing to another state. So she wanted this job. And out of the research that I did for this particular position, she said that almost every question was spot on that they asked her in the interview. She made the second choice. So it was between her and another individual. That individual had more experience in this type of work. And she goes, but that's okay, Miss Amber. I will get there. And I said, absolutely, I know you will. I've had other spouses who hadn't worked. They've been doing FRG, Dr. Mary Walker Awards, and just doing all kinds of FRG stuff for years. She did not work for over 12 years. And she's like, my husband's fixing to retire out of the Army. What am I bringing to the table? What can I offer? And I'm like, oh, no. I said, you bring all your FRG stuff in and we're going to work this together. So she had an all business resume and we worked it together, and one little step at a time. And I said, how do you like your resume? She says, it looks absolutely beautiful. And then after I helped her husband came in. He's retiring. So can you help me too? And I'm like, sure. So it was a win-win. And they were relocating down to Orlando, Florida. So I do the best I can. And there's all some self-doubters, like they have great experience and knowledge and abilities. But I don't know if I could have a federal job. And I'm like, you can do this. Just got an email today, actually. And she was applying for a legal assistant. And she says, I've never made the referral list ever since as many times as I've applied. And she says, just spending the time with you and helping me, I finally got referred. And she says, I want a mock interview. I said, absolutely. Tell me the day and the time where I'm here for you. So it's a good feeling of accomplishment, not just personally for me, but just to help back and paying it forward. And if it's spouses or if it's soldiers, it doesn't matter. I'm paying it for it, and that's what I love to do.
Thank you for listening to Fort Riley, the podcast.